Today, I wanted to talk to you about something every English learner goes through, although most people think it's only happening to them. It's that moment when your English suddenly feels harder than usual. Maybe last week you were speaking confidently and everything flowed. Then today, nothing. You feel slow. You're searching for words and you start thinking, hold on, am I getting worse? Why can't I speak like I usually can? If you've ever felt that, let me reassure you immediately, this is completely normal. It happens to every learner. And in fact, it happens to every human being when they're developing a complex skill. And English is a complex skill. Speaking another language requires memory, attention, listening, pronunciation, emotional control, cultural awareness, confidence, and the ability to react in real time. It is a huge cognitive task. So of course it is going to fluctuate. And let me explain why this happens, because there are some fascinating psychological reasons behind it. So first, your learning progress isn't supposed to be a straight line. There is a thing called non-linear improvement, which simply means progress goes up, it dips a bit, then goes up again, dips again, and eventually jumps ahead. It's a bit like your brain is doing renovation work inside. The improvements are happening, but while your brain reorganizes things, the furniture is temporarily all over the place. So those bad speaking days are often part of a bigger leap forward. And another reason is cognitive load. Some days you have more mental weight than others. Maybe you slept badly, maybe you are stressed, maybe you have a lot on your mind, or maybe your brain is simply tired from too much screen time. When your brain is overloaded, it cannot access language as quickly. And that doesn't mean your English has got worse. It just means your brain bandwidth is lower at that moment. And then there is something called the observer effect. The more you judge and monitor your speaking while you are speaking, the more your fluency drops. Psychologists talk about this in sports and performance all the time. It is what athletes call choking. If you try to speak English while watching yourself and criticizing yourself in real time, you create internal pressure. It's like trying to dance while constantly analyzing your footwork. It suddenly becomes mechanical instead of natural. And another thing that affects this is something called the fluency accuracy trade-off. Your brain often prioritizes one over the other. Some days you speak fluently, but make more mistakes. And other days you slow down because your brain is focusing on accuracy. And this is totally normal and actually part of the learning process, because you can't be optimizing everything at the same time. Now, your emotional state also plays a huge role. If you are anxious, self-conscious, excited, or frustrated, that emotional energy can interfere with language production. It happens to public speakers, actors, and musicians. So, of course, it will happen to you when you speak a second language. Now, the most important thing I have to say right now is this. A bad speaking day is not evidence of regression, meaning getting worse. It is often evidence of progress. You only start noticing these dips when you reach a level where you already have control over the language. Beginners don't notice fluctuations because everything feels equally difficult. But once you are intermediate or advanced, your awareness increases, and that awareness is actually a sign of growth. Think of how athletes talk about training or their performance. They never say, I played badly today, therefore I've lost all my skill. They say, my timing was off today. I'll be back on form tomorrow. They understand that performance varies from day to day, even when overall ability is rising. And you, as an English learner, are basically an athlete of language. You train your brain, your mouth, your memory, your listening skills, and your confidence. It is natural to have days where your brain feels slow or uncooperative, but your long-term trajectory is still moving upward. So if today is one of those foggy days, please don't panic. You haven't lost your English. You are not going backwards. More likely, your brain is integrating new information, or your cognitive load is high, or you are simply judging yourself too harshly in the moment. Let the bad days be bad days. Trust the process, trust your effort, and trust that fluency, like the tide, always returns. And in many cases, these dips happen right before a breakthrough. So you might be closer to improvement than you realize. All right, that's all I wanted to say today. I hope it spoke to you if you are feeling these feelings at the moment, and that you can trust the process and keep pushing forward with your English studies. My name's Charlie, and you've been listening to the British English Podcast. Bye for now.